Hey, hon. I look horrible. Wow. Thanks for noticing. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna collapse. And we're going down. Oh, I'm fine. Actually, I'm not fine. I need a little help. Thanks. I'll just sit down right there. I would have come earlier. God, what is it? It's already tomorrow. Great. Look, so, you remember last week how there was, went to that bar and those guys, they were hitting on you and, I just wasn't having it because I wasn't going to let you get disrespected like that. Well, they got mad and, I beat them up. I had a couple marks on me, but they all looked like they had the same uniform. I noticed they had a pin amongst them. So I questioned the weakest of the three, and sure enough, he cracked. And he told me he was in a gang and that they were after, that I was on their list now. Now, at first I thought it was just kind of an empty threat, a bluff even, that it was just a coincidence, but as I dug dipping, sorry, they bashed my head in a couple times, stuttering over the words. As I did some digging, I noticed that they weren't lying, and actually, that dude was an idiot, because it was not a gang. It was the whole mafia. They ran an underground drug trading section, and I was kind of an idiot, and I looked this up on a computer that didn't have what's it called? It didn't have one of those web blockers. What are they called? Yeah, they changed their address. Yeah, that's what they're called. Yeah. So I didn't have that, and sure enough, I noticed that there were people following me. Now, I was able to lose them initially, but I knew it was only a matter of time before they tried to strike at you or at me if they found that out. So I made a couple calls, called in a few favors, and I stocked up on weaponry. Melee weapons, explosives, lots of explosives, and a couple guns. It's kind of expensive, but I got it at a pretty hefty discount. But yeah, so I went gung-ho and I challenged the Mafia. And I won, which I should be ecstatic about, but I know that when I was in there fighting all those men, I definitely should have died at least like 3 times. And the first time I got lucky. The second time I tanked the hit, surprisingly. But the third time, there was no way I was going to make it past there. And, I don't believe in much of anything, but I was like, there is no way in hell that I'm going to pull anything off the third time. And I prayed, and I felt this surge of power come over me, that I was protected, and that I'd be okay. Incredibly reckless, sure, but that power was unlike anything I've ever experienced before. And you know me, I don't believe what I don't see. But I saw it and I felt it with my own eyes. I know you're more into this God thing than I am. But I I don't know much, but I think after everything that's happened, I think I'm starting to understand how it's all supposed to be. God sent you to find me, and you're here to guide me through how I'm supposed to do all this, the religion part, you know. What about the mob? Right, so I got to the boss, right? I beat him up. I didn't kill him. But I worked on an agreement that I wouldn't take my nose around what he's doing and this and that. But I had him make a couple agreements himself that one, he wouldn't mess with us, I wouldn't mess with him. And not only just us, but the surrounding neighborhoods nearby, and they aren't allowed to sell drugs here. And if they do, I will get a substantial freaking payment through him. But, you know, it's like he doesn't want to. It was like we agreed on a stupid amount because he wasn't going to sell here, you know? So no drugs to the kids, none of the gang activities coming over here. I basically have this turf now. But in turn, you know, I'm not messing with him, which is fine. I don't mind. But we actually talked about God, actually. You know, I didn't know too much. I still don't. But he taught me a few things, and he told me that he could see that even though it was just me, like, it wasn't just me, you know. And if he could see it and I could feel it, there is no doubt that this God exists. And honestly, even though I'm pretty beat up, I feel fine. I don't know if that's just the adrenaline rushing through, and when it kicks, it's like, oh, ding, 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 adrenaline out, and then I'm going to feel all the pain. But I almost feel confident that's not going to be the case, which is very strange. Right, so I think that's what's most important right now. Will you guide me in this whole... Where do you go for this? Church. That's right. Will you take me to church, I guess? I know this is kind of a weird kind of roller coaster, and it wouldn't make sense from a logical perspective, but it just feels like the right move, you know? Yeah, I do, and the more I thought about it, I want to be with you, and I want to protect you from anything. And I thought a little longer down the road that if we got married and had kids, which were both things I wasn't really too interested in prior, but with your help, I think everything's going to be okay. In the end, right? Then we'll have our ups and downs, but yeah, I do feel different. I certainly talk differently than the most nonchalant, carefree that I used to be, but I guess it's because I have someone I want to grow with and something I finally care about, you know?